Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be talking about decals and how to add them with a little bit of masking so we can make the wall that we were building last time much more interesting. If you haven't seen the previous video and you want to jump in to follow along, please visit the link that I'm going to leave in the description below. Alright, so now all we have to do is do the final layer, so what's going to be underneath. And for that, we're going to start loading Megascan. So I'm going to go here, my local library, surfaces. This is another test that I did before. Let's do with concrete. I'm going to search for concrete. And let's use broken concrete floor. Okay, so we already have something underneath. Now what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to bring it up like that. And you can see the concrete that's underneath. Let's just change the albedo tint. Just because concrete that's been underneath for a while may be a bit different in color. I'm gonna leave it at that. Then we're going to do the other layers with Megascans. So I'm gonna do it on top of this one. All right, now that I've brought it here, what I need is to get it the same threshold that this concrete is right here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the same threshold just for the sake of time. We may modify it later on, but just because we're trying it out, and this actually looks really good already. I'm just going to switch that out a little bit, click apply, and you're gonna see that we have some grayish parts. That's because of what we have on top. I'm just going to copy that mask. I'm going to add a mask stack here, and I'm going to paste mask stack like that. And of course, I'm going to disable that, and we have our concrete right here. All right, now what I did there is I just modified the brightness and contrast a little bit. And one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add another brightness and contrast, and you're gonna see what happens. It's actually really fun. One of the things that we can do is, and depending on what kind of look you are wanting to get, if you want to get a less destroyed look, a less noisy look, you can increase the contrast on this one, and that'll be hardening your edges. So this will be another chunk of wall that fell off of here, which is completely fine if that's what you're going for. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the more kind of like rough concrete that's underneath the plaster. So I'm going to reduce the contrast with my second brightness contrast, and this is just showing you the power of Mixer, how many things that you can stack. You don't always have to rely on one thing. So if you added a brightness contrast, you can also still add another brightness and contrast on top of that if you want to tweak it even more. That's one of the best things about this program. Now we need to add the final layer, and for that we're going to do some regular plaster. So I'm just going to look here in my local library for some plaster. Let's see, plaster wall. Just want to see how this would look. If you just want to do a quick look, you can always do from above and it will straight up show you how it looks. So I think this is fine. All I want is a little bit of grit. I don't want it to look crazy or anything like that. So I'm just going to go with that, and I'm going to do from below. What I'm going to do is go here, and this has a threshold of 1, so make sure this one has a threshold of 1 as well. And as you can see, it actually looks inverted. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to copy these masks. So select your mask, copy it, go back here, add a mask stack. You can turn this one off and paste mask in here. And there you go. This will add what I needed in the end. And I can actually bring the threshold a little bit higher so I can get that plaster wall around that. And I think that's too shiny. It looks like fresh paint. So I'm just going to bring it down a peg and maybe make it yellowish. So it looks like a wall that's been out there for an old time. Another thing that we can add for this is we can still add more atlases on top. But before we do that, in order to keep this performance friendly, I'm just going to delete these two because I don't need them. And I'm going to add a decal. Let's say, let's add some graffiti. What'd you say about some graffiti? Over here on top of everything. And with the decals, we can just place it whatever we want. I'm actually going to rotate it this way. Put it right here. There you go. We got some graffiti. And let's make it maybe, you know, something a little bit darkish. And we can reduce the opacity so it looks like it's been there for a while. Now the other kind of decal that we can add is we can add more destructible decals if we wanted to. So I'm going to go here into Atlas and I'm going to get this asphalt crack. So this is one example of you can select things that don't necessarily belong to the asset that you're making. So this is supposed to be an asphalt kind of decal and I'm going to use it for a while. So you don't have to stick to strict rules as to what kind of thing you want to use. So I just want to add more cracks around here and let's make sure that this has the same albedo as everything else. I'm just going to put it around this. Let's say this way. Okay, I'm still going to delete some of these parts. So in here, you're going to also add a mask to it and we can paint and take out certain parts because I just want the cracks from this decal. I don't want this big chunk over here. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I'll probably go into our concrete, go to the albedo, make it much darker. A little bit more towards the oranges. This way. Okay. Now it's starting to look more like it's part of a building. And you can see how good this crack matches here. Another thing that we need to do is maybe we need to make this a little bit sharper. For that, another octave. There you go. I'm still going to delete this part because I'm looking for the cracks. Mostly I'm not looking for what's underneath. But I do think these work well. Just like little chips here and there. So I'm just going to clean that up. And I just noticed here that I'm looking at some parts that shouldn't be there. There you go. Okay. We got rid of that. And we can actually add another one of these. So we can duplicate the layer, get rid of that mask, and we can offset it over here because it looks like we have an empty space. I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees and maybe scale it up a little bit. Okay, that was more than 90 degrees. Yeah, so I just want the cracks around this part, kind of like it's cracking from the floor. So in here, we'll need to add our paint mask. I'm actually going to increase the size so we can get rid of that around here. We only need the bottom part. There you go. I'm just going to mask with 5 so we can be a little bit more precise. Now you could leave this if you want to. You don't have to get rid of them. This is just not the kind of look that I was going for. So that's why I'm just clearing up this mask. And there you go. Now you have a complete wall asset that you don't have to model. You just throw it into a plane because it already has displacement. And you can use this really cool wall for your destructive projects. All right, everybody, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, and comment whatever your tutorial suggestions, what else you would like to see in the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.